So the first joint that we're gonna talk about is the patellofemoral and tibiofemoral joint, which makes up the knee. So these two joints are a part of the knee. It also contains other parts, which is the patella, the tibia, and the fibula. So we're gonna talk about the knee joint, and we're also going to describe the articulation that occurs in the knee joint. As you see here in the diagram, I have a diagram below that's going to explain this articulation that occurs at the joint. So the knee joint is basically the largest synovial joint of the body, and it is composed of three bones: the femur, the tibia, and the patella. The knee joint only has two articulations: the tibiofemoral and the patellofemoral joint. So these articulations that happen, the first one that happens in the patellofemoral joint is that the articulation is between the patella and the femur, and the second articulation in the tibiofemoral joint is the articulation between the tibia and the femur. Also, the movements that occur at these joints are extension and flexion, and also lateral rotation. Flexion is basically decreasing the angle between the bones and bringing the bones closer together, while extension is basically the reverse of flexion. It's just that it increases the angle between the joints. So as you can see in the diagram, the different parts of the bone, this is the anterior view and this is the lateral view, and here you can see this is the femur up top and this is the patella, and the areas that are colored is the areas that show the articulation. This is the tibia, which we refer to as the shin bone, and the patella is the kneecap, and the femur is the thigh bone. Over here, this is the patellofemoral joint, the gap between the area between the area to the side of the patella that is next to the femur, and then at the bottom we have the tibia. I know they're not accurate drawings, but I tried my best. So let's explain the articulation that happens in the knee joint. So as I said before, there are only two articulations between the patellofemoral and the tibiofemoral joint. So the first articulation that takes place is between the patella and the femur. So the first articulation that I'm going to explain to you is it takes place here. So it takes between the patella and between the femur, and the articulation happens in this area, which it helps to form these bones. So the patella and the femur articulate, and that's where the patellofemoral joint is formed. The opposite of that is that the tibia here and the femur articulate to form the tibiofemoral joint of the bone. So the colored area basically describes how this takes place. So as you can see where the arrows in the section is indicating, this is the patellofemoral joint and this is the tibiofemoral joint. So those are the two articulations that take place in the bone. Just to give some background information, the patella is a sesamoid bone, and it is formed between the tendon of the quadrupeds, which is the region of the anterior thigh, while the tibia is larger and it's like a more medial bone between the leg bone and the foot. And the fibula is it's like a stick-like bone. It's the lateral bone of the leg. So basically, the tibia fibula, they articulate with each other like superficially and inferiorly. So the tibia basically articulates with the femur to form the knee joint. So as you can see, the patella is the knee joint, which is here. So what happens is the tibia articulates with the femur to form the patella. And as you can see here in the colored section, it's the same thing. The tibia here is articulating with the femur, which is, I use the blue color here to show the articulation that's taking place. And over here you could also see the articulation of the tibiofemoral joint, which is basically the tibia and the femur articulating to form the patellofemoral joint. Okay.